So PHP is a language that is processed by the server and changed, and a web page is given for the output. In other words, it's like a print statement in Python. We'll take a look at Python shortly. In fact, let's see if I've got this on here. Let's get Python up and running. Okay. So we'll look at the differences between this and Python shortly. First, we need to start PHP with a question mark and the word PHP, and finally end it with a question mark and an angle bracket. And if we save it with the file extension .php, it will colour it. Echo is the PHP version of print in Python, and I can't see Python loaded up on my screen. I'll have a look at that in a minute. And then we have a string following it, exactly the same as in Python, with a quote mark and then a word and then an end quote mark, and this is a little bit different. We've got a semicolon. This line is called a statement, and each statement must be separated by a semicolon. If you don't do that, you'll get an error, and part and parcel of what we're going to be learning is how to understand the errors. So first of all, let's do that. Let's make an error. Let's take the semicolon out, save it, and refresh the page, and well, it seems to have done it nicely. It shouldn't. It should have shown us an error. Let's close this down, reload the page. In most cases you will get an error. This is simply because one line, if it's the last statement before the end, it will not give an error. So to make an error, if I type echo world, because I've now got two statements and they're not separated by a semicolon, when I reload the page I will get an error. And it's normally called a parse error if I've made a typing mistake, and it tells me which file the mistake occurred in, and it tells me which line, and tries to give me some idea of what the actual mistake was. It says it was expecting either a comma or a semicolon. In fact, it was expecting a semicolon. So if I put the semicolon at the end of hello world, save the file and refresh it, my parse error goes and I get hello world written on the screen. Now notice, as with HTML, it did not put them on separate lines. It will continue writing from left to right unless I write HTML tags in here to change the way it is displayed. The safe way of doing things is to make sure that every line has a semicolon. That won't create a mistake and it won't create a problem. It will always work, and we can be sure that we haven't missed one out. So end every statement with a semicolon. Now, as with Python, let's see if I can convince Python to start up again. No, we're having a bit of a problem with that. Let's see if I can go to the background. No, it's not going to work on this machine. Okay. Needless to say, in Python we could not do this. We could not have more than one statement on a line, and we had to use indentation. But with PHP We don't need to use indentation at all. The only reason we use indentation is to make our code readable, and we can have as many statements on a line as we like. And I will show you that. I will get Python working at some point. So I'm refreshing my page just to make sure that that is sort of working. I'm going to write another echo statement, echo blah, and save that, refresh the page, and we've got hello world blah. So we can write as many statements on one line as we like. The problem is with this is it's going to be very, very difficult to read what we do. So it's much neater if we separate each statement on its own line. We'll produce exactly the same output, there we go, and is more readable. Again, there is no need for any indentation, but if we use it, it will just ignore it, won't give us an error. Python, if you indented things without any reason, it would give you an error. So that's a quick look at statements and the semicolon.